Hello, listeners. Welcome to The Planet Scientist, where science meets serenity and the mysteries of our universe unfold like whispered secrets in the night. I'm so grateful you've chosen to spend this quiet hour and a half with us beneath the gentle glow of moonlight. Tonight, we're going to explore one of nature's most enchanting mysteries, the moon and its quiet, persistent influence on our lives. Whether you're here to drift into peaceful sleep, to reflect on the day that's passed, or simply to wonder at the beauty above us, you're exactly where you need to be. Take a moment now to settle in. Let your shoulders drop. Allow your breathing to slow and deepen. Release whatever weight you've been carrying today. The moon has been watching over our planet for billions of years, and tonight it watches over you too. As we begin this journey together, imagine moonlight streaming through your window, silver and soft, wrapping around you like a gentle embrace. There's something about moonlight that makes us pause, that makes us feel both small and infinite at the same time. What is the moon? Our moon, this quiet dancer in the sky, was born from violence and chaos, yet it has become our most faithful companion. About 4.5 billion years ago, when Earth was still young and wild, a Mars-sized object called Theia collided with our planet. From this cosmic collision, debris swirled and gathered, slowly forming the luminous sphere we see today. Picture this: the moon hangs in space about 238,855 miles away from us. That might sound impossibly far, but in cosmic terms, it's practically next door. If you could drive a car to the moon at highway speeds, it would take you about 4 months of continuous driving. The moon is our constant companion, locked in an eternal dance with Earth, showing us the same face always, like a friend who never turns away. The moon is smaller than you might imagine, about 1/4 the size of Earth. If Earth were a basketball, the moon would be a tennis ball, orbiting at a distance of about 24 feet away. Yet this small gray world has shaped the very essence of life on our planet. As it travels around us every 27.3 days, the moon appears to change shape in our sky. But of course, it's not really changing at all. It's simply revealing different portions of its sunlit surface to us, like a shy performer slowly stepping into and out of the spotlight. The moon's surface is a tapestry of ancient stories written in craters and maria, those dark patches that early astronomers thought were seas. They're actually vast plains of hardened lava, remnants of the moon's fiery youth. When you look up at the moon tonight, you're seeing a landscape that hasn't changed significantly for billions of years, a cosmic museum of our solar system's early history. Why we feel drawn to the moon. There's something primal about our connection to the moon, something that reaches deeper than conscious thought. Perhaps it's because the moon has been humanity's oldest timekeeper, marking the passage of months before we had calendars, guiding travelers before we had maps. Think about it. Every culture that has ever gazed upward has found stories in the moon's glow. The ancient Greeks saw Artemis, the huntress, racing across the sky. The Chinese saw Chang'e, the moon goddess, dancing with her jade rabbit. Native American tribes called it the wolf moon, the snow moon, the harvest moon, each name carrying the wisdom of seasons and cycles. But our attraction to the moon goes beyond mythology. There's something about moonlight that feels different from sunlight. Softer, more mysterious, more forgiving. Under the moon's gentle glow, the world transforms. Harsh edges soften, colors become muted and dreamy, and even the most familiar landscapes take on an otherworldly quality. The moon represents the rhythm of rest and renewal. While the sun governs our active daylight hours, the moon presides over the quiet times, over sleep, dreams, and reflection. It's the celestial body that says, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to be still. Scientists have discovered that many of us actually sleep differently during different phases of the moon. Some studies suggest we sleep more deeply during the new moon and more restlessly during the full moon. Our ancestors knew this instinctively. They planned their activities around lunar cycles, understanding that life flows in rhythms, just like the moon's phases. As we continue our journey tonight, let the moon's ancient wisdom wash over you. You are part of a story that began billions of years ago and will continue long after we're gone. The same moon that illuminates your dreams tonight once shone on the first humans, on the dinosaurs, on the very first life forms that emerged from Earth's primordial oceans. The science of lunar cycles phases of the moon. Explained softly, the moon's phases are like the breath of the sky, a gentle, rhythmic inhaling and exhaling of light that has measured time since the beginning of human consciousness. Each phase carries its own energy, its own quiet teaching about the nature of cycles and change. Let's begin with the new moon, when our celestial companion seems to disappear entirely from the night sky. But the moon hasn't gone anywhere. It's simply positioned between Earth and the sun, with its illuminated side facing away from us. This is the moon's time of rest, of gathering energy in darkness. In many spiritual traditions, the new moon represents new beginnings, a blank canvas upon which we can paint our intentions. Imagine the new moon as a seed planted in dark, fertile soil. For 2 or 3 nights, the sky seems empty of our lunar friend, but this emptiness is full of potential. During this time, the night sky reveals its other treasures more clearly. Stars shine brighter, planets become more visible, and the Milky Way stretches across the heavens like a river of light. As the moon continues its journey around Earth, it begins to emerge from the sun's shadow. First, we see the waxing crescent, a delicate sliver of light like a cosmic smile appearing in the twilight. This tender crescent grows night by night, as if the moon is slowly opening its eyes after a peaceful sleep. The waxing crescent is a time of gentle growth, of intentions beginning to manifest. Ancient farmers knew this was the time to plant seeds, to begin new projects, to nurture the tender shoots of possibility. The moon's light is soft and encouraging, whispering, "Grow, slowly, steadily, in your own time." About a week after the new moon, we reach the first quarter phase. Half the moon's face is illuminated, creating a perfect half circle in the sky. This is the moon of action and decision-making, when the energy that was planted during the new moon begins to take tangible form. The light is strong enough to walk by, bright enough to read by, yet still gentle enough to feel peaceful rather than harsh. The waxing gibbous phase follows, as the moon continues to grow fuller, like a flower gradually opening its petals. Gibbous comes from the Latin word for humpbacked, describing the bulging shape of the moon as it approaches fullness. This is a time of refinement, of fine-tuning, of preparing for the culmination that's coming. And then the full moon arrives, rising like a silver sun in the east, just as the true sun sets in the west. The full moon is the crescendo of the lunar cycle, when all the energy that has been building finally reaches its peak. The night becomes almost as bright as day, and the moon's light touches everything with silver magic. The full moon has captured human imagination for millennia. It's the moon of harvest festivals and midnight celebrations, of heightened emotions and vivid dreams. Some say the full moon makes us more creative, more intuitive, more connected to the mystical aspects of life. Whether or not this is scientifically proven, there's no denying that the full moon feels different, more intense, more alive, more charged with possibility. After the full moon's peak, the cycle begins to wind down. The waning gibbous phase is a time of gratitude, of appreciating what has been accomplished, of beginning to release what no longer serves us. The moon's light gradually diminishes, but this isn't a loss. It's a gentle letting go, a natural completion. The last quarter moon, another perfect half circle, faces the opposite direction from the first quarter. This is the moon of release and forgiveness, of clearing away the old to make room for the new. The light is soft and contemplative, perfect for reflection and meditation. Finally, the waning crescent appears as a delicate sliver in the pre-dawn sky, like a celestial goodbye kiss. This is the moon of surrender, of trusting the process, of knowing that after every ending comes a new beginning. Soon the moon will disappear into the new moon phase once again, and the eternal cycle will begin anew. The moon's effect on Earth. The moon's influence on our planet is both subtle and profound, like a gentle giant whose presence shapes the very foundations of life as we know it. While the moon appears serene and distant, it's actually engaged in a constant gravitational dance with Earth, pulling and tugging at our planet in ways that have made life itself possible. The most obvious manifestation of the moon's power is the tides. Twice a day, our oceans rise and fall in response to the moon's gravitational pull. This isn't just a beautiful natural phenomenon. It's a life-giving force that has shaped evolution for billions of years. Imagine the moon as a cosmic conductor, orchestrating the rhythm of water across our planet. As the moon orbits Earth, its gravity creates two bulges in our oceans, one on the side closest to the moon, where the gravitational pull is strongest, and another on the opposite side, where the pull is weakest. As Earth rotates beneath these bulges, we experience the eternal rhythm of high and low tides. But the moon's influence extends far beyond the movement of water. The moon acts as Earth's stabilizer, keeping our planet's axis steady as it spins. Without the moon, Earth would wobble chaotically, causing dramatic climate shifts that would make complex life nearly impossible. The moon keeps Earth's axial tilt stable at about 23.5 degrees, giving us the predictable seasons that allowed life to evolve and flourish. Think of the moon as Earth's anchor in the cosmic storm. While other planets in our solar system experience extreme variations in their tilt, Mars, for example, has tilted as much as 60 degrees in the past. Earth remains steady thanks to our lunar companion. This stability has allowed ice ages to come and go in predictable cycles, permitted the development of complex weather patterns, and given life the consistency it needed to evolve from simple organisms to the incredible diversity we see today. The moon has also been slowing Earth's rotation throughout history. When the moon first formed, days on Earth were only about 5 hours long. The moon's gravitational pull has gradually slowed our rotation, giving us the 24-hour days we know today. This slowing continues at a rate of about 1.7 milliseconds per century, imperceptible in human terms, but significant over geological time. As the moon slows Earth's rotation, it also moves away from us, drifting about 1.5 inches farther each year. This means that in the distant future, the moon will appear smaller in our sky, and total solar eclipses, those perfect moments when the moon exactly covers the sun, will no longer be possible. We live in a unique era in Earth's history when the moon and sun appear almost exactly the same size in our sky, creating the spectacular total eclipses that have inspired wonder and awe throughout human history. The moon's gravitational influence extends to the solid Earth as well. Just as the moon pulls on our oceans, it also causes the land itself to flex and flow. These Earth tides are much smaller than ocean tides, only about 12 inches at most, but they're real, measurable effects that scientists can detect with sensitive instruments. The moon and animal behavior. In the natural world, the moon serves as an ancient timekeeper, synchronizing the rhythms of life across countless species. From the deepest ocean trenches to the highest mountain peaks, animals have evolved to dance to the moon's silent music, their behaviors intricately woven into the fabric of lunar cycles. Perhaps nowhere is this more beautifully demonstrated than in the coral reefs of the world's tropical oceans. On specific nights, determined by the moon's phase and the water temperature, entire coral reefs participate in one of nature's most spectacular synchronized events. Billions of coral polyps simultaneously release their eggs and sperm into the water, creating underwater blizzards of new life. This mass spawning event, triggered by the full moon, ensures that the tiny coral larvae have the best chance of survival and genetic diversity. The moon's influence on marine life extends far beyond corals. Many fish species time their spawning to lunar cycles, taking advantage of the strong currents generated by spring tides to carry their eggs to safer waters. The Grunion fish of Southern California beaches their entire bodies on sandy shores during the highest tides of spring, laying their eggs just beyond the reach of normal waves. These eggs develop safely in the warm sand, hatching just in time for the next spring tide to carry the baby fish back to the ocean. Sea turtles, those ancient mariners of the ocean, use the moon as their compass and calendar. Female sea turtles prefer to nest during the darkest nights, when the beach is safest from predators. But when the baby turtles hatch, they instinctively head toward the brightest horizon, which, in the natural world, is the moon's reflection on the ocean waves. This lunar guidance system has worked perfectly for millions of years, though modern beachfront lighting sometimes confuses the hatchlings, leading them away from the safety of the sea. In the forests and grasslands, nocturnal animals have developed intricate relationships with moonlight. Owls hunt more successfully during bright moonlit nights, when their keen eyesight gives them an advantage over their prey. Conversely, small mammals like mice and rabbits tend to stay hidden during full moons, knowing that the increased visibility makes them more vulnerable to predators. The moon's influence on animal behavior becomes even more fascinating when we consider the wolves. Contrary to popular belief, wolves don't howl more during full moons, but they do hunt more successfully. The increased visibility allows wolf packs to coordinate their hunting strategies more effectively, leading to more successful hunts and, consequently, more howling in celebration of their success. Even insects respond to the moon's call. Many moth species use the moon as a navigation beacon, flying in straight lines by keeping the moon at a constant angle to their flight path. This natural compass system works perfectly in the wild, though it can be confused by artificial lights, explaining why moths seem drawn to our porch lights and street lamps. Perhaps most remarkably, some animals seem to anticipate the moon's phases. Certain species of birds begin their migrations not just based on seasonal changes, but also in sync with specific lunar phases. The additional light of the full moon helps them navigate during their long journeys, while the gravitational effects of the moon may influence their internal biological clocks. As we settle deeper into our lunar journey, let's explore one of the most intimate ways the moon touches our lives, through the gentle realm of sleep and dreams. For countless generations, humans have whispered about the moon's influence on our rest, and now, modern science is beginning to understand what our ancestors knew intuitively. The moon may indeed be a silent guardian of our sleep cycles. Picture yourself drifting off to sleep on a clear night when the full moon hangs bright outside your window. Even with curtains drawn, something feels different about the quality of the darkness, doesn't it? Recent studies from sleep laboratories around the world have discovered some fascinating patterns in how we sleep during different phases of the moon. Researchers at the University of Basel in Switzerland monitored people's sleep patterns in controlled environments, completely isolated from any natural light. What they found was remarkable. Even when participants couldn't see the moon, their sleep patterns still correlated with lunar phases. During the full moon, people took an average of 5 minutes longer to fall asleep, slept about 20 minutes less overall, and experienced 30% less deep sleep compared to new moon nights. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The participants' levels of melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycles, were lower during the full moon. It's as if our bodies somehow sense the moon's presence, even when we can't see it. This suggests that we might have an internal lunar clock, much like our circadian rhythms that respond to the sun's cycle. Think of your sleep as a gentle tide, ebbing and flowing with the moon's phases. During the new moon, when the night sky is darkest, your sleep may be deeper and more restorative. This is your body's natural time for profound rest, for cellular repair, for the deep restoration that comes with complete darkness. As the moon waxes and grows brighter, your sleep might become lighter, more filled with dreams. The waxing moon is associated with increased mental activity, more vivid dreams, and sometimes a sense of restless energy that makes it harder to sink into the deepest levels of sleep. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Lighter sleep often means more REM sleep, the phase when our most meaningful dreams occur. The full moon has long been called the insomniac's moon, and there may be truth to this folk wisdom. Emergency room nurses often report busier nights during full moons, though whether this is due to increased accidents or simply to more people seeking help for sleep problems is still debated. What's clear is that many people report feeling more alert, more emotionally charged, and yes, more wakeful during the full moon. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of the moon's influence on our sleep is how it connects us to the natural world. Before electric lighting, humans lived in much closer harmony with lunar cycles. We stayed up later during bright moonlit nights, using the extra light for activities that required good vision. We slept more deeply during the dark of the moon, when the night sky offered only starlight. This natural rhythm may still be encoded in our DNA, a whisper from our ancestors who lived by the light of the moon. When you find yourself lying awake on a full moon night, instead of fighting the wakefulness, try embracing it. Use these alert, moonlit hours for gentle activities, reading, meditation, quiet contemplation, or simply gazing out at the silver world beyond your window. The moon's influence on our sleep patterns might also explain why so many cultures have traditions of moon watching and nighttime rituals. These weren't just spiritual practices, they were practical adaptations to the natural rhythms of lunar light. Our ancestors understood that some nights were meant for deep, restorative sleep, while others were meant for staying awake, for community gathering, for creative work that flowed best under the moon's inspiring glow. As you drift through the phases of your own sleep tonight, imagine yourself connected to this ancient rhythm. Feel the moon's gentle pull, not as a disruptive force, but as a reminder of your place in the natural world. Whether you sleep deeply or lightly, whether you dream vividly or rest peacefully, you are participating in a dance that has been going on for millions of years. The dance between earthly life and celestial light, moon and menstrual cycles. There's something deeply poetic about the connection between the moon's cycle and the feminine rhythms of life. For thousands of years, cultures around the world have recognized the synchronicity between the lunar month and the menstrual cycle, both averaging about 28 days. This isn't mere coincidence. It's a beautiful example of how life on Earth dances to celestial rhythms. The very word menstruation comes from the Latin word menses, meaning month, which itself derives from the word for moon. In many ancient languages, the words for moon, month, and menstruation share the same root, suggesting that our ancestors saw these cycles as intimately connected parts of the same natural rhythm. Before the advent of artificial lighting, many women found their cycles naturally synchronizing with the moon's phases. Studies of women living in traditional societies where electric lighting is minimal show that menstrual cycles often align with lunar phases. Some women menstruate during the new moon and ovulate during the full moon, while others follow the reverse pattern. Both are considered natural and healthy variations of the lunar menstrual connection. Think of this synchronization as a conversation between the feminine body and the celestial sphere. The moon, with its eternal cycle of waxing and waning, mirrors the body's own rhythm of preparation and release. Just as the moon grows full and then releases its light, the body builds and prepares, then releases and renews. This connection goes beyond mere timing. Many women report that their emotional and physical experiences throughout their cycle mirror the moon's phases. The new moon time might bring introspection and inward focus, similar to the menstrual phase, a time for rest, reflection, and letting go. The waxing moon energy might align with the follicular phase, when energy builds and new possibilities emerge. The full moon often corresponds to ovulation, the time of peak fertility and creative energy. Just as the full moon illuminates the landscape, this phase can bring clarity, confidence, and a sense of radiant vitality. The waning moon might mirror the luteal phase, a time of gradual release and preparation for the next cycle. But here's what's truly remarkable. This synchronization isn't just metaphorical. Research has shown that exposure to different types of light can actually influence menstrual cycles. The pineal gland, which produces melatonin, is extremely sensitive to light and darkness. Since melatonin affects the production of reproductive hormones, it's entirely plausible that the moon's light could influence menstrual timing. Some women deliberately try to realign their cycles with the moon by using light therapy, spending time in moonlight during ovulation and sleeping in complete darkness during menstruation. While not every woman will find this natural synchronization, especially in our modern world of artificial lighting and irregular schedules, many report feeling more connected to their natural rhythms when they pay attention to the moon's phases. The moon menstrual connection also extends to emotional and spiritual experiences. Many women find that their intuition heightens during certain moon phases, that their dreams become more vivid, or that they feel more creative and inspired. This isn't surprising when we consider that the same hormones that regulate the menstrual cycle also influence mood, creativity, and intuition. In many indigenous cultures, the menstrual cycle is honored as a sacred time, a monthly opportunity for women to connect with their inner wisdom and the natural world. The new moon, or dark moon, is often seen as a time for women to retreat, to rest, and to receive visions or insights. The full moon is celebrated as a time of power, creativity, and community gathering. This ancient wisdom reminds us that the feminine cycle isn't just a biological function, it's a monthly opportunity to attune to natural rhythms, to honor the body's wisdom, and to participate in the eternal dance between earth and sky. Whether or not your personal cycle aligns with the moon's phases, you can still draw inspiration from this cosmic connection, using the moon's rhythm as a guide for your own cycles of rest and activity, introspection and expression, solitude and community, emotions and the full moon. The full moon rises tonight, casting its silver light across the landscape of human emotions. For centuries, people have whispered about the moon's power to stir feelings, to intensify experiences, to make the heart beat faster and the mind race with possibilities. Is this mere superstition, or is there something deeper at work when the moon shines brightest? The very phrase lunacy comes from the Latin word luna, meaning moon. Ancient physicians believed that mental illness waxed and waned with the lunar cycle, and while we now know that mental health is far more complex than this, there's something intriguing about the persistent belief that the full moon affects our emotional states. Emergency room staff often report that full moon nights bring more patients, not necessarily more accidents, but more people seeking help for emotional distress, anxiety, or crisis situations. Police officers sometimes notice an uptick in domestic disputes and public disturbances during full moons. Teachers report that children seem more restless and emotionally volatile on full moon days. But what might explain this phenomenon? One theory focuses on the moon's effect on our sleep patterns. As we discussed earlier, the full moon can disrupt our sleep, making us rest less deeply and dream more vividly. When we're sleep deprived, our emotional regulation suffers. We become more reactive, more sensitive, more likely to experience intense feelings or to respond dramatically to situations that might normally not affect us so strongly. The full moon also provides more natural light during nighttime hours. Before electricity, this extra light meant that people stayed up later, engaged in more social activities, and had more opportunities for both positive and negative emotional experiences. The full moon was the time for festivals, celebrations, and community gatherings, but also for conflicts and confrontations that might have been avoided in the safety of darkness. There's also the simple fact that the full moon is a powerful and beautiful sight. When you step outside on a clear full moon night, you can't help but feel something: awe, wonder, a sense of cosmic connection. This natural emotional response might make us more open to feeling in general, more receptive to the full spectrum of human experience. Consider how the full moon affects your own emotional landscape. Many people report feeling more creative during full moons, more inspired to write, paint, or express themselves artistically. Others feel more social, more drawn to connect with friends and loved ones. Some experience heightened intuition, vivid dreams, or a stronger sense of spiritual connection. But the full moon can also bring challenging emotions to the surface. Feelings that have been suppressed or ignored might suddenly demand attention. Relationships that have been strained might reach a breaking point. The full moon doesn't create these emotions. It simply illuminates them, like moonlight revealing the landscape that was always there. This isn't necessarily a negative thing. The full moon can be seen as a monthly emotional clearing, a time when we're called to face what we've been avoiding, to express what we've been holding back, to deal with what we've been postponing. It's a time of culmination when the emotional energy that has been building throughout the lunar cycle finally reaches its peak. Many therapists and counselors report that their clients often have breakthrough moments during full moon periods. The combination of disrupted sleep, increased emotional sensitivity, and the symbolic power of the full moon can create conditions where people feel safe to explore deeper feelings or to make important revelations about their lives. The key is learning to work with the full moon's energy rather than being overwhelmed by it. If you know that you tend to feel more emotional during full moons, you can prepare by practicing extra self-care, by creating space for reflection and expression, by being gentler with yourself and others. Think of the full moon as a monthly reminder to check in with your emotional well-being. What feelings have you been ignoring? What relationships need attention? What creative projects are calling to you? What aspects of your life are ready for change or release? The full moon's light is both revealing and forgiving. It shows us what we need to see, but it does so with a soft, silver glow that makes even difficult truths seem manageable. Under the full moon's influence, we might find the courage to have that difficult conversation, to make that important decision, or to finally express that feeling we've been keeping hidden. The moon in ancient cultures, 54 to 60 minutes journey with me now across the corridors of time, to civilizations that lived in intimate harmony with the moon's cycles. Before clocks and calendars, before electric lights and digital screens, humans organized their entire lives around the celestial rhythms above. The moon was not just a beautiful sight in the sky. It was teacher, timekeeper, and deity, woven into the very fabric of daily existence. In ancient Egypt, the moon god Khonsu was revered as the divine timekeeper, the one who marked the passage of months and seasons. The Egyptians developed one of the world's first lunar calendars, recognizing that the moon's cycles provided a reliable way to track time and plan agricultural activities. They noticed that the Nile's flooding often coincided with certain moon phases, and they used this knowledge to predict when to plant and harvest their crops. The Egyptian goddess Isis was often depicted with a crescent moon crown, symbolizing her connection to the feminine cycles of creation and renewal. Egyptian priests would conduct special ceremonies during each new moon, believing that this was when the veil between the earthly and divine realms was thinnest. They understood that the moon's darkness was not empty, but full of potential, a time for setting intentions and planting seeds, both literally and metaphorically. Across the Mediterranean, the ancient Greeks saw the moon as Artemis, the virgin huntress who raced across the night sky with her silver bow. Artemis was both fierce and protective, wild and wise. Greek women would gather during full moons to honor her, sharing stories and wisdom, celebrating the strength and independence that the moon goddess embodied. These gatherings weren't just religious ceremonies, they were vital social institutions that strengthened community bonds and provided emotional support. The Greeks also recognized the moon's influence on human behavior. The physician Hippocrates, father of modern medicine, taught that the moon's phases could affect the course of illness and the timing of medical treatments. He believed that certain surgical procedures should be performed during specific moon phases for the best outcomes, a practice that continued well into the Renaissance. In Asia, the moon held equally profound significance. The Chinese developed a complex lunar calendar that is still used today for determining traditional festivals and auspicious dates. The Mid-Autumn Festival, one of China's most important celebrations, honors the full moon as a symbol of reunion and harmony. Families gather to share mooncakes and tell stories about Chang'e, the moon goddess who lives in a palace on the lunar surface with only a jade rabbit for company. Chinese traditional medicine recognizes the moon's influence on the body's energy systems. Practitioners believe that the moon's phases affect the flow of qi, life energy, through the body's meridians, and they time certain treatments to coincide with specific lunar phases for maximum effectiveness. The Japanese have gifted the world with the beautiful practice of moon viewing, or tsukimi. During the autumn months, people gather to appreciate the moon's beauty while eating special foods and composing poetry. This isn't just aesthetic appreciation, it's a mindful practice that connects people to the natural world and to the contemplative aspects of existence. Japanese culture recognizes many different types of moons, each with its own name and meaning. The harvest moon is celebrated for its role in helping farmers work late into the evening during the crucial harvest season. The cherry blossom moon marks the beginning of spring and the renewal of life. Each moon has its own character, its own gift to offer those who take time to notice. Perhaps no culture has understood the moon cycles more intimately than the various indigenous peoples of North America. Many tribes developed sophisticated lunar calendars that tracked not just the moon's phases, but also the subtle changes in the moon's behavior throughout the year. They gave names to each full moon that reflected the natural events happening in their environment. The wolf moon of January, when wolves howled from hunger; the strawberry moon of June, when wild strawberries ripened; the harvest moon of September, when crops were gathered for winter storage. These weren't just poetic names, they were practical tools for survival. The salmon moon told coastal tribes when to prepare for the annual salmon run. The corn moon reminded agricultural communities when to tend their crops. The cold moon warned of winter's approach and the need to prepare for the lean months ahead. Native American cultures also recognized the moon's spiritual significance. Many tribes believed that the moon was a feminine spirit, a grandmother figure who watched over the people and provided wisdom and guidance. Moon ceremonies often focused on healing, both physical and emotional, and on the sharing of women's wisdom across generations. The Celtic peoples of ancient Europe saw the moon as a symbol of the triple goddess, maiden, mother, and crone, representing the three phases of a woman's life and the three main phases of the moon. They believed that the moon's energy could be harnessed for healing, for divination, and for connecting with the spirit world. Celtic druids were skilled astronomers who used the moon's position to determine the timing of their sacred ceremonies. They built stone circles and monuments that aligned with lunar events, demonstrating their sophisticated understanding of the moon's complex cycles. These ancient cultures understood something that we're only beginning to rediscover: that humans are not separate from the natural world, but intimately connected to it. The moon's cycles were not just something to observe, but something to participate in, to learn from, to live by. They recognized that the moon's energy could be a source of wisdom, healing, and connection, not just to the cosmos, but to our own deepest selves. Moon magic, ritual, and reflection. Lunar rituals and spiritual meaning. In the quiet sanctuary of moonlight, humans have always found space for the sacred. Throughout history, the moon has been not just a celestial body, but a spiritual teacher, offering lessons in cycles, transformation, and the eternal dance between light and shadow. Tonight, let's explore how the moon's ancient wisdom can guide us toward deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmic story. The practice of lunar ritual is as old as humanity itself. Our ancestors understood that the moon's phases mirror the natural rhythms of life, the cycle of birth, growth, fullness, decline, death, and rebirth that governs everything from the seasons to our own life experiences. By aligning their spiritual practices with these lunar cycles, they found a profound sense of connection to the natural world and to the sacred patterns that govern existence. Let's begin with the new moon, that dark and mysterious time when the moon seems to disappear from the sky entirely. But this darkness is not empty. It's pregnant with possibility, like a seed waiting in the earth or a thought forming in the depths of consciousness. The new moon is nature's monthly invitation to begin again, to plant new intentions, to dream new dreams. In many spiritual traditions, the new moon is a time for introspection and intention setting. This is when we look within, assess where we are in our lives, and decide what we want to cultivate in the coming lunar cycle. Some people create simple rituals around this time, lighting a candle in the darkness, writing down their hopes and dreams, or simply sitting in quiet meditation, allowing their deepest desires to surface. The beauty of new moon rituals lies in their simplicity. You might create a sacred space with items that feel meaningful to you. Crystals, flowers, photographs, or simply a comfortable cushion where you can sit quietly. The key is to create a sense of intentionality, a feeling that this time is different from ordinary time, that you're stepping into a space of possibility and prayer. Many people find that journaling during the new moon helps them connect with their inner wisdom. Ask yourself, what do I want to create in my life? What patterns am I ready to release? What dreams are stirring in my heart? Write without censoring, allowing your thoughts to flow like water finding its natural course. As the moon begins to wax, growing from a slender crescent to a full orb, your intentions can grow too. This is the time for taking action on the seeds you planted during the new moon. The waxing moon energy supports growth, expansion, and moving forward with your plans. It's like having a cosmic tailwind supporting your efforts to manifest your dreams into reality. The full moon, however, is perhaps the most powerful time for spiritual practice. When the moon reaches its peak brightness, it's as if the universe is offering maximum illumination, not just in the sky, but in our consciousness. This is when insights come most easily, when emotions reach their peak intensity, and when the veil between the seen and unseen worlds feels thinnest. Full moon rituals often focus on gratitude and celebration. This is the time to acknowledge what you've accomplished, what you've learned, and what you've received. It's also a powerful time for releasing what no longer serves you. Many people write down their fears, limiting beliefs, or negative patterns on pieces of paper, then safely burn them under the full moon's light, symbolically releasing these energies back to the universe. The full moon is also traditionally a time for charging crystals, blessing sacred objects, and performing healing rituals. The moon's light is believed to have purifying and energizing properties, cleansing away negative energies and infusing objects with positive intentions. Whether or not you believe in the literal power of moonlight to affect physical objects, the ritual act of placing meaningful items under the moon's light can be deeply symbolic and psychologically powerful. Water rituals are particularly potent during the full moon. Since our bodies are mostly water and the moon influences all water on Earth, many people create moon water by placing bowls of clean water under the full moon's light. This water can later be used for ritual baths, for blessing plants, or simply for drinking as a way of taking the moon's energy into your body. The waning moon phase, as the moon gradually diminishes in size, is traditionally associated with release, forgiveness, and letting go. This is nature's monthly reminder that sometimes we need to clear away the old to make room for the new. Waning moon rituals often focus on forgiveness, forgiving others, forgiving yourself, and releasing resentments that no longer serve your highest good. This is also a powerful time for cleansing rituals. You might use this time to clear your living space, to organize your belongings, or to release commitments that are draining your energy. The waning moon supports all forms of decrease and elimination, making it an ideal time for breaking bad habits or ending relationships that have run their course. One of the most beautiful aspects of lunar spiritual practice is that it doesn't require elaborate ceremonies or expensive materials. The moon's light is free, available to everyone, regardless of their beliefs or background. You can create meaningful lunar rituals with nothing more than your intention, your attention, and your willingness to align yourself with the natural rhythms of the cosmos. Some people prefer to practice lunar spirituality in groups, gathering with friends or community members to share the experience of moon ceremonies. There's something powerful about joining voices under the moon's light, about sharing intentions and supporting each other's growth. Other people prefer solitary practice, finding that the moon's energy helps them connect with their own inner wisdom and intuition. The moon teaches us that spirituality is not about perfection, but about cycles. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, our spiritual lives naturally have periods of expansion and contraction, of clarity and confusion, of inspiration and rest. The moon reminds us that this is not only normal, but necessary. The dark of the moon is as sacred as the full moon's brightness. Moon in art, music, and poetry. The moon has been humanity's most enduring muse, inspiring countless works of art, music, and poetry across every culture and era. There's something about moonlight that awakens the creative spirit, that makes us want to capture its beauty, its mystery, its haunting presence in our lives. Tonight, let's explore how artists throughout history have tried to translate the moon's ineffable magic into forms that speak to the human soul. In the realm of visual art, the moon has been a constant companion to painters seeking to capture the mystery of night. Think of Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night, where the moon hangs like a glowing pearl in a sky that swirls with cosmic energy. Van Gogh painted this masterpiece while he was a patient in a mental hospital, finding solace and inspiration in the night sky visible from his window. The moon in his painting isn't just a celestial body, it's a symbol of hope, of beauty persisting even in the darkest times. The Japanese have gifted the world with some of the most exquisite lunar art in history. The woodblock prints of Utagawa Hiroshige often featured the moon as a central character, sometimes partially hidden behind clouds, sometimes reflected in still water, always imbued with a sense of poetic melancholy. These artists understood that the moon's beauty lies not just in its brightness, but in its ability to transform familiar landscapes into something magical and otherworldly. In Chinese art, the moon often appears in paintings of scholars contemplating the night sky, of lovers separated by distance but united under the same lunar light, of hermits finding wisdom in solitude. The moon represents the contemplative life, the inner journey, the search for meaning that transcends the material world. Western Romantic painters like Caspar David Friedrich used moonlight to create scenes of sublime beauty and mystery. His moonlit landscapes invite viewers to step into a world where the boundary between the earthly and the spiritual becomes blurred. The moon in these paintings often serves as a metaphor for the divine presence in nature, for the spiritual light that illuminates the darkness of human existence. Music, too, has been profoundly influenced by the moon's inspiration. Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata remains one of the most beloved pieces of classical music, its gentle flowing melody evoking the peaceful movement of moonlight across water. The piece doesn't literally describe the moon. Instead, it captures the feeling of moonlight, the sense of quiet contemplation and gentle melancholy that moonlit nights can evoke. Thank you, my listener, for spending this quiet moment with me. Until next time, sleep well and stay curious.